Hey YouTube, this is me again making another video. This video is about comics, and recently I have read a comic book called Simon Dark by DC Publishing. So I got Simon Dark from my comic book dealer, and what can I say about Simon Dark? There have been 3 volumes of Simon Dark, collected issues. So this is the trade paperback number 1, which Wait, which one is? Right. This is a trade paperback. What number 1? This is called Simon Dark: What Simon Does. The second one is called Ashes, and the third one is called The Game of Life. They're fairly short, and they are all illustrated by Steve Niles and Scott Hampton. And Scott Hampton is just... I like his artwork. I like Scott Hampton's mildly kind of mixing ink with watercolors kind of a thing. I know it's also computer kind of digitalized, or you know, how do you say it? Rendered by a computer, but also his use of pencils and inks and just amazing watercolors. It's just amazing. And the story, check it out first. If you like art by Scott Hampton, just check it out and see if you would like it. It's very dark, it's very goth, it's very gothic kind of brooding artwork, sometimes photorealistic, sometimes really melting down to important bits and parts. It's not the high action that you would kind of get from action comic books. This is more of a dark goth horror story about a character called Simon. And Simon is living in a park. And what Simon does is he's protecting his park. It's all happening in a part of Gotham City where amazingly so Batman does not appear in any of these comic books. So it's a very kind of a story that develops only in the city, of course, but in one neighborhood, one just particular neighborhood where Simon is. And what is Simon? When we see Simon, it's just like he looks like a renegade from Slipknot. It's just, you know, a really scary character that could be the main character or a bad guy in a horror movie. A guy in dirty clothes, sometimes a dark coat with a stripy red and black kind of a vest or something, and he constantly wears this mask, which is kind of a pale stitched up mask from parts, and it has, you know, greasy kind of hair. I don't know if it's hair or is it cloth or something. He's just really scary, and even more scary, in his mind frame, in his view, he's punishing bad people. And how does he punish them? Well, he has a really sharp piano string which he puts around the parts of body and then kind of, you know, decapitates or, you know, cuts off hands or stuff. What made him so violent? What is this creature that plagues the night? Well, it is explained as we see the story through the eyes of a young girl who just moved into this city and is trying to go to school. We're trying to see this story from the point of police coroner and forensic, which is working with her mysterious new detective who came into town. He looks like a generic good guy, but there's really much more to him. We see the story from the angle of the secret society who dabbles in dark arts, occultism and magic, and tries to manipulate the prominent parts of society to just, you know, gain their ways and their diabolical cause to do horrible things in Gotham. And it's just really one of those occult thrillers kind of a thing. And if you're kind into those occult thriller horror, kind of a goth thing, then this is a comic book for you. If not, if you're looking for some superheroes, then this is not a superhero. It is a DC comic book. It's almost Vertigo. This is almost Vertigo. There are some action, you know, kind of sequences, and you know, when Simon goes and the detective goes and the snappy and the demon of Atlakor, and you know, just but it's not an action. It's not an action comic book. It's more of a very moody, very kind of a goth thing. And if you're into those sort of things, well, you should probably check this out. So if you have any comments more or questions, or would you like to for me to do a review of some other comic books, just post your questions down below and I'll try my best to answer them. Thank you for listening to this little piece of information, and stay tuned.